look at those beautiful candy-colored G-Shock watches. Gentlemen, this is the brand new GM2110D. It's a new watch in the 2100 series watch, and it's steel. It's a little bit different than the other 2100 series watch steel that we've seen. We're going to go over the differences from some hands-on that some people have gotten with this watch. But for right now, just admire these beautiful candy colors, okay? There's 5 of them. There's 5 of them to choose from. So, pick which color is your favorite. But for those listening on the podcast, the Beater Watch Pod, there is like this light blue color. I would call it aquamarine. Maybe it's emerald or lapis lazuli. I'm not sure, but it's like a light blue, kind of a sky blue. Like I said, more of an aquamarine. And then there's like a navy blue. And then there's a minty green color, followed by an orange. And I don't know if this is like Syracuse orange or Tennessee orange, or maybe it's a king crab orange, like my Yeti steel tumbler. And then the 5th color has no color, just a clear coat. It's silver, okay? And it looks a lot like my G-Shock toolbox that I got from all my G-Shock points. I was G-Shock points rich. I turned them in for this toolbox. And this watch is the same color. All right. So which one's your favorite? I should make a poll and put it on YouTube. But the problem is that YouTube only allows 4 options for like a poll, and there's 5 watches. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is have like a first heat among all these candy colored watches. All right. So you guys will be able to pick your favorite from among light blue, navy blue, minty green, and orange. Okay. And the winner will be pitted against silver, because I have a feeling that silver, kind of stands alone. And I'm going to guess that it's probably going to be the most popular option among you gentlemen. But, there's always a lot of surprises in the G-Shock watch community, okay? Like, for example, the NASA watch was released recently, which is the GW6900, and there was a contest to buy it because they assumed that it would be really popular. And it was not really popular. And after the contest, they just sold it regularly for this limited edition GW6900. But in and around that same time, they released a new King, right? And this King was part of the two-tone series, and it had a positive screen, unlike my King, which has a negative screen. And what happened was that it sold out, and I told you guys to buy it. I put a link below. It was like, guys, buy it. And then it sold out. And then we got a notification that it came back in stock because they found a pallet in the back or whatever. And it sold out again, right? And I found that out during the last show. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is a lot of times our expectations of what would sell out actually don't. So when you look at these 5 colors of this brand new GM2110D, which color will be the most popular? I'm thinking silver would be the most popular, but we have to put that up on the poll. And like I said, it's going to be like 2 heats, right? It's like a pigtail. It's like all the 4 candy colors will battle each other to face off against silver, okay? So what happened was that I'm on Twitter, all right? And a lot of the watch information I found on there is actually in Japanese. And recently, someone shared an article with someone had a hands-on with this brand new watch, and it was on Web Chronos is the name of the site. It's all in Japanese, but there's a bunch of pictures that we can look at, okay? And gcentral.com has some additional coverage of this watch. So let's go through and look at the pictures. And, for those of you listening on the podcast, I'll do my best to explain what we're looking at. And so first off, Web Chronos. Like I said, it's all in Japanese. I can't read this. Maybe some of you can and can translate. But the author is wearing the brand new GM2110D 2A JF, which is that light blue color. So it could be possible that the light blue color is the most popular, because there's a recent G Steel watch that came in black, green, and blue, and the blue color is sold out. I forgot to mention that in the last video. We're talking about church watches, but the blue sold out, right? And so it's possible this light blue color in this watch will sell out. And so now the back of this watch. Okay, so we're going to talk about how it's different than the other steel 2100 series watch. Okay, and I should eliminate some confusion right off the bat. Right, the 2100 series of G-Shock is called the Casioak. That's its nickname. And there's two main branches. There's one that does not have Bluetooth, and there's one that does have Bluetooth and tough solar. Okay. So two main branches. I have one of each branch, right? And it is with the fabric bands, because the resin bands, they just didn't fit that well for me. And these fabric bands, I thought these fabric bands are terrific, really good for big wrister. That's my opinion. And we got this one onto the G-Shock bestseller list right there at number 14. This one is the GAB 2100 CT with the Eco Cotton. But this watch, this Casio, or the Casioak, has tough solar, the Bluetooth, and the sub dial shows the functions, not the day of the week. The day of the week is on the LCD screen. Okay. Now, I have a regular G-Shock GA2100 BCE, and I think this watch is terrific. This in my personal top G-Shock, this is number 3. And this G-Shock is on the bestseller list. It has a Cordura band. And this is a regular 2100 series watch, meaning it does not have Bluetooth, it does not have tough solar, and the day of the week, or the subdial, is day of the week. And I like that. I like all those things. I just wish if it had solar charging and multi-band 6, this would be like the perfect watch. And we don't have that option in G-Shock world. They're not going to make one perfect watch, right? They're going to make so many different permutations, and none of them tick all the boxes. And maybe they're doing that on purpose. Okay, so what happened was that the original Casioak was just a huge runaway success, and everyone was like, hey, just add solar. And they can't just add solar. They added solar and Bluetooth, changed the dial, as I've just explained. And everybody was like, you got to be kidding me. All right, whatever. A lot of people didn't care. A lot of people do like Bluetooth. I admit that. Most of you watching, like, I don't know if most of you like Bluetooth of those of you in the audience, but there's a strong contingent of us who preferred not to have Bluetooth on our watches. Let's just put it that way. Anyways, many individuals purchased the Casioak and modified it by adding metal bezel steel bracelet. And that mod became so popular that G-Shock offered their own steel version of the Casioak. Okay, I do not have that one because, I mean, I've been wanting to. I was so close to impulse buying one from Paramount Jewelers at the South Plains Mall. I tried it on, and it was like way better than I expected. Okay, and what made that steel Casioak, which is the GMB 2100, what made it so great to me is that, you know, the bracelet was long enough that it fit, and also the case back isn't like secured with 4 screws. It's actually screwed in, so it protrudes more, and it makes it shallower. Like the kind of the crotch in between the two bands. We'll look at some more pictures. Hopefully, I can explain it better. But anyways, that watch was pretty cool. And my war chest, I've not been able to build up my war chest enough to buy the G Steel or the Casio, okay, the Casioak, excuse me. And I've been wondering, are they going to make a steel version of the regular Casioak, meaning the GA2100? Are they going to make that one steel? Because this GAB2100 in steel, has a Bluetooth and the subdial that I do not like. Okay. And I was thinking they wouldn't, but surprise, surprise, they did. And that's what the GM2110D is all about. It is the regular first branch, the main branch of the Casioak in metal. And they've made it budget friendly. I might be able to afford this one, okay? Because the cost is less than the GMB2100 steel version. Does that make sense, guys? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's two branches of the 2100 series Casioak G-Shock watches. All right, the GA2100. That's one branch, and then the other branch is the GAB2100. Okay, so the steel version of the GAB2100 is the GMB2100, and that one, is $500-$600. And it cost a fair amount, okay? And this is a category of watch I call church watch, which is not a luxury watch, but it's a dressy watch, right? And so the steel version of the GA2100 promises to cost less, but there's some trade-offs, okay? Let's look at them. So this picture on Watch Chronos shows the back of this steel watch, and it has the type of back that has screws in the four corners. Okay, that's a cheaper way of securing the back of the watch. Okay, and it's also not as durable, not as rugged, not as polished. All right, let me pull up on gshock.com so those of you watching can see. And before we go on, there's a banner right at the top of gshock.com that shows the NASA Special Edition. All right. And it has, on this banner, it has a formula for gravity on one side and the formula for impact on the other. H. Lee just pointed out to me that the formula for gravity is incorrect, and the formula listed for impact is actually the formula for kinetic energy. Now, if it was just on the banner, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. But when you get the GW6900 and you press the light button, there is on the backlight is the formula for gravity. And that formula is incorrect. It's missing the gravitational constant G. G-Shock is missing the G. All right? Someone in the comments, I made a little TikTok YouTube short about that after H. Lee shared that information, and someone wrote the G is the G-Shock. Well, okay, but if you're going to sneak this watch into the SATs or to your physics test, you're gonna get it wrong if you don't remember the gravitational constant G. That's kind of embarrassing. And I'm embarrassed too that I didn't notice it first, but I took physics. I started physics in 1997 in high school, so I graduated in 1998. That's like 26 years since I finished high school physics, all right? And I did not validate that formula because, well, I should have, but I assumed if it had gone out the door of Casio that they would have seen it and double checked that they had the formula correct. They did not, and I did look up what H. Lee said. All right, I'm having some problem navigating this website. Hold on. Those of you watching are probably laughing at me. All right, so what I'm pulling up from the gshock.com is the GMB2100D. And this watch, the face is dark. It's one of those infuriating things about G-Shock where it seems like they play with the legibility. It seems like most guys, when we go out to buy watches, we want legibility. And that's like a top priority, legibility. Obviously besides, durability and value, etc. But G-Shock, their designers there, they like to bring the legibility down to earn some style points. And so with the original GMB2100, they did this thing with the watch face where the hands, the indices, the whole dial, everything is just a shade of black. It's all very dark gray. And it has this black hole effect to the appearance of the watch. And I think that turned off a lot of people. A lot of guys don't want, watch. It's difficult to read. And I made so many rants about the negative display LCD on the King, how it's like, why did they make a watch that's so difficult to read? It's just, it makes me want to like tear my eyelids out and my hair and bash my head against the wall, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of you know the frustration. We've shared it in the comments. It's like, G-Shock, would you please just make a legible watch? Like, I just want to be able to read my watch, please. Now, with the GMB2100D, I did become interested in buying it because I just tried it on a whim at the mall, at Paramount Jewelers, and when you look at the case back, you'll see it has sticks out kind of like a turtle, It looks like a I don't know, a manhole cover. It protrudes from the back of the watch, and that makes it gives the watch a more rugged feeling. But it also fits a lot better if you're a big wrister, because it makes the depth of the back of the watch more shallow. So when you look at the back of a watch, and I'll just use this one for example, on G-Shock watches, and this is a Casio watch, but it has an extended band, so I got this one, but this is a lot like a G-Shock watch where the band points down, okay? And I call it the crotch, the watch crotch, but this area in between the two bands has some depth to it, right? But when you have that screw-in case back, since it's so thick, it makes the watch crotch more shallow, which is better for a big wrister because it gives the watch a feeling that the band, or in this case a bracelet, is splayed out more. So the particular one that I was wearing was the gunmetal, and I thought it looked fantastic. I was ready to buy it right there, but it cost a lot of money, and it would totally deplete my war chest. And my war chest is just the budget for my watches, for the collection, and for the videos I'm making. So I got to beef up the war chest. And when I won the contest to get this NASA special edition, it depleted the war chest. And the timing was bad because it was right when the positive display King came out. And if I had money in the war chest, I would have bought it. But I had to pass. But it's all right because I still have a King. And I think if you're going to have a G-Shock collection, I think the King is one that you should have in there. But I think that it shouldn't be your only watch because there's some downsides to it from it being so big. Okay? But anyways, my war chest has been depleted again. I did stack it up a little bit. It got depleted by the new... Well, a lot of you guys aren't going to like to hear this, but I purchased that new Pro Trek with a bungee cord band. Okay, it's like the PB&J something or other. It has a bungee cord. I purchased it. It should be here. Might be here this week. What's today? Tuesday? Or I might be here next week. Stay tuned for that. We're going to test it out. The small wrist guy was asking if I was going to get it or something. I told him, buddy, I just pulled the trigger. Amazing you just asked. So anyways, the GMB 2100 retails at $550. And so it's pretty steep, all right? Now you look at this brand new one, the GM2110D. Look at the back. Well, the back has kind of a more economical style of the back, just a flat back screwed in with four screws into a plastic case. And so the feeling of, that feeling you get from the GMB 2100 may not be there in terms of feeling solid and more luxurious. It's like the back. So this whole situation with the GM 2110D is a lot like just like a Casio that has a metal bezel slapped on it, and then a metal bracelet, right? And so you like, it looks nice, but you know that the watch itself is plastic. Okay, it's like how Zoomers are like, no cap, for real, for real. Well, with this watch, it's like, yes, cap. There's a cap. It's a metal cap on a plastic watch. And that plastic peeks through. Okay? So my church watch now is MWQ100. And it is like that. It is a plastic watch with essentially a grill, a metal grill. And the metal grill is really shiny. It's snazzy. Some might say it's blingy. There's a lot of bling. Yes. Okay? But it is, in the end, a plastic watch. And the back is just a flat piece of metal that's screwed in with 4 tiny little screws. All right? You want to step up in terms of quality and luxury and refinement, then you got to pay $550 retail to get your GMB 2100. All right? So in the Watch Chronos, he plunked the GM2110D down right next to the polychromatic GMB 2100, and it looks to be pretty much the same size, which makes sense since their core watches are the same, right? Now, one difference you will notice is that on the GMB 2100, there's those dots on the bracelet that are a lot like the dots that are on the square, just a regular square. You know, they have the dots that run down the side. And on the GW6900, well, that one has dots, right? So the GMB 2100 has the dots. The GM 2110 does not. And there's another picture. He's wearing both of them at the same time. So without the dots on the GM 2110, it looks more polished. You know, it looks a little shinier. I can't say whether I like one better than the other. I just want a nice, thick, sturdy bracelet. And so the question is a bracelet on the GM 2110 as sturdy, as thick? It might not be. They may have lightened it up with, like, they may have just chromed out some plastic. Okay? So it does not appear to be as beefy and as sturdy. However, it is cheaper. Okay? And so gcentral.com asked, how much will the G-Shock GM2110D with stainless steel band cost? And this is an article from August 14th. And so he was kind of like doing some investigating about this, looking at how much it cost in terms of yen. All right. Now, the yen cost of this new one was the same as the Mudmaster, meaning it would be around $380. But some further investigating has shown that it may not cost that much. Okay. And in terms of the band, the stainless steel band of the GM 2110 also has resin parts, which is a good thing. And this is from gcentral.com, an article published August 16. And he says, something we noticed while the upcoming G-Shock GM 2110 was listed on several European retail sites before being removed was a dealer catalog image that showed the band specification icon with the label S/R, indicating that the band was made of stainless steel and resin. All right, so G Central, they're trying to figure out what's going on And there was also a YouTube channel that published a video that said it was the first look at the G-Shock GM2110. And it was exquisite timepieces. And so this promotional video has all of the watches like spinning around, showing off their vibrant candy colors on the dial. And like I said, there's 5 colors. And they're like in this video, they're dancing with this colors splashing everywhere. And it does look pretty cool. It does look nice. And the one that stood out to me was just that steel one. All right. But we're going to have to vote on which one's the best. All right. So today, G Central posted an article that that the GM 2110 about the price. It's kind of expensive in Japan. I think this is where he says that he thinks it's going to be about $380 based on how much it cost in yen. All right. Now, here's another interesting thing about the watch that gcentral.com is reporting. And this is, he was able to read the Watch Chronos article because he translated it. But he says the review states that the watch has a glass fiber reinforced resin case, so it is not a carbon core guard like the GA2100. The GM2100 is also not a carbon core guard. It also states that the total weight is 143 grams, which is 22 grams less than Casioak's stated list weight of the full metal GMB 2100. All right, so it weighs less, it costs less, but it may not be cheap. All right. And also today, gcentral.com published that G-Shock UK lists the GM2110D watch for £279 each and makes us hopeful for a $300 price again. All right. So forget that last article where the yen cost of the GM2110D was the same as the Mudman. It could be less based on how many pounds they're charging in the UK. And this is where I got the picture of those 5 watches together from G Central, and I think it looks snazzy. It looks really snazzy. Now, my first impression, obviously, I don't own any of the steel G-Shocks, but if I had the war chest for it, I would go with the GMB 2100. All right, even though I don't like the Bluetooth and I don't like the function dial, I'd prefer the day of the week dial. It's just the beefy feeling of the GMB 2100. Just I really liked it. Okay, and so obviously we'd have to get our hands on the GM 2110D, but the colors look nice, and there's a lot to say for having a nice light watch. And it would definitely be an improvement for my current church watch, the MQW 100, because this watch does not have a light. And one of the commenters knew this, and he was kind of teasing me. He was like, I was saying how I wear this watch to church, and he was like, well, I forget exactly what he said. Hopefully your church isn't at night. And I'm like, yep, I guess you have to go to the morning service, because on the MWQ100, there is no LED light, and the lume is pretty pathetic. So it would be nice to upgrade the war chest. The problem is that I get a lot of requests to test out the Mudmaster, the GWG B1000. And yeah, I'd love to do that. We'll add that to the list. The thing is, looking at the timeline for the collection and for the reviews on the Jim Kinkade YouTube channel, the GD010 is coming out. And I'm thinking of buying more than one. Just to hold them in my hands and be like, one stays, one goes, because all three of them look good. Kind of thinking about buying all three. Not keeping all three, just doing a one stays, one goes. Or two, in this case, it would be one stays, two goes, right? Because I'm pretty excited about, there being a basic, new, non-connected, tough, rugged G-Shock watch, okay? And so, and then, I also want to upgrade my church watch, maybe to the GM2110 in silver, maybe, okay? So, the testing, the GWG B1000 is on the agenda, but it's kind of in the distant future, all right? We have to stick to a budget, right? You guys stick to a budget. My channel sticks to a budget. That's how it goes. And the war chest is filled. I put some shareholder equity in there, but we also have, the ads that YouTube runs, and then there's affiliate links. If you find value from the information I provide in the reviews, you decide to pull the trigger on a certain watch, you go to the description, there's links that you can follow. They're called affiliate links. So you can buy them from Casio, and there's like a commission that goes to the channel, right? That's what gets thrown into the war chest. And it costs the same to you. And that's how affiliate links work. And so I appreciate all of you guys who have used those affiliate links. And, if it wasn't for you guys, the war chest would not be refilled, and we would not have as many watch reviews. Simple as, right? I set out to find the best beater watch, and in my opinion, it is the Mudman, the GW9500, right? This is a super tough watch. So I finished that quest, but we've had so much fun looking at all these G-Shock watches, testing them out, and talking about them in the comments, and following the everyday drama in the world of G-Shock that, we're going to keep this going, right? So stay tuned for that review of the... and here's a picture of aquamarine for those of you watching, all right? Now, some specimens of aquamarine, a little bit green, but you have those that are a little more blue, right? And this is my mom's favorite gemstone, aquamarine, and they pull it out of the ground in Maine, right? And so does those of you who are watching this, that color does look very similar to that light blue. And I click on emerald. Maybe it's closer to emerald. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. And so let's see. Before you guys go, look at. We'll go to Casio.com. All right. Let me show you something. Actually, we have to go to ProTrek. I want to show you the watch that I bought. A lot of you guys are saying how it looks like a toy. It does look like a toy. It's pretty ridiculous. Does anybody know how to get to ProTrek? I'll tell you how. When you're on Casio.com, you have to go to all watches, and then when they list all the watches, then you have to, on the top, scroll over to where it says ProTrek. Click on ProTrek. Maybe double click. Here it is. The PRJ B001B-2. We looked at these when they came out. There was 3 of them, but 2 of them were not released in America. There's a beige one that looks like a Wang computer, and then there's a black one. The black one and the beige one are not here, but the blue one is, and the blue one has the bungee cord band. It looks like a very versatile watch, the PRJ B001B-2. I bought that one, all right? It's on the way. Casio shipped it today. They sent me an email. It's like, hey, you can track your package. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Last time they used like FedEx or whatever. I click on the link. It says track your package. And it goes to a Spanish language website. So I don't know if like they're shipping it. I live in Texas. I don't know if they're shipping it to me from Mexico. What's going on there? All right. So the PRJ B001B-2 Pro Trek watch by Casio, which has the bungee cord band that it looks like you could, a massive wrister could wear it. It looks like you could wear this on your leg. Looks like you could put this thing anywhere. This is a situation where you're limited only by your imagination. And so we're going to use some imagination when we unbox it, when it arrives. Gentlemen, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. I'm Jim Kinkade. Thanks for watching.